Let's talk some 49ers softball. Welcome inside our studios in the broadcast communications section of the library here on campus. Ryan Rose with you, and we've got some ballers here. We brought some ballers onto the set. A couple of seniors and our coach, Aimee DeVos. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You're getting old hat at this TV stuff, so I thought we'd bring you back in and just kind of chat you up about this coming season. We've got Kalie Lang and we've got Briana Gwaltney, a couple of the awesome players from last year, and a good core coming back, Coach, when you think about what to expect here in 2013. Home runs flying out of the ballpark. You know, don't slow down when you drive by the softball stadium. You might get hit by a flying ball. But let's talk about this upcoming season. You're going to play a lot at home, all at once to start with. Kind of the thing that you guys have been doing, having so many home tournaments to get going. That's got to be an advantage for the girls to get into the nice rhythms that you want to start the season with.
Most definitely. It gives us an opportunity to play in front of a home crowd, but also it gives all of our players a chance to adjust to getting ready for the spring season. We're not getting on a bus to go play. We're not staying in hotels. We're able to be at, in your own room at night, but you're at your own field. And I think that gives us the advantage because we've been practicing outside for 3 to 4 weeks there and having a pretty good comfort zone for all of them. And it makes a nice transition for the season. 56-game season is a long one. And so if you can go into it and stay rested and be ready to go in mid-March when conference play starts, that's kind of our goal with them. We do, obviously hit the road in early March, but if we, bringing the other schools in, keeping our team at home and kind of keeping that home field advantage has really been a strength for us over the last several years.
And it's fun to get so many different kinds of teams in here. Not play the same regional opponents every year. Get different looks at different kinds of pitching. Different kinds of way different styles of softball are. That's got to be fun too, to kind of keep you on your toes and get you ready for any kind of team you might face later on.
Most definitely, it's a pretty good comparison for Atlantic 10 play. Atlantic 10 play, we don't have we have a pretty high top and sometimes a little bit lower bottom. And, we get, like you said, we get a lot of teams from the Northeast, the Midwest coming down, and it helps prepare, all of our players, like you said, for different styles of pitching, different styles of offense, and then it also will identify for us very early on what we need to tweak and try to make better, before mid-March hits here. So it's, and for a lot of players, it's also an opportunity to play against friends that they hadn't, seen in a while because the opposing colleges usually have typically former teammates of our current players.
Well, girls, I know that with some of the teams that you've played through the years, you guys have got a lot of experience on this squad. I know Bree's been here a while, and Ms. Lang, as you came in and transferred in, but you've played quite a bit. You guys started every game last year for Charlotte. So a good core of folks coming back. Talk about your upper class that kind of grown up together on this squad, and maybe some expectations for this coming season.
I'm excited. I think we have good upper class, and it shows example for our underclassmen. I know we have a big sophomore class, and so they kind of outnumber us, but I think we all work together, and I enjoy being around the girls like that.
Is it strange being kind of look around and we're the elder statesmen around here? We're the ones that have to kind of lead this squad. Is it kind of a different feel for you two?
Yeah, it's definitely very weird looking around, and we're setting up for practice and people are coming and asking me questions, and I'm like, well, this goes here and this goes here. When I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing, and right. I'm the senior now, and it's very, very crazy being the oldest ones and being the ones that everybody looks up to, and it's definitely an exciting experience, and definitely different. Different,
yeah. Well, with all the freshmen that kind of were thrown into the mix, this squad has a little bit more experience than last year's squad. You won't see a lot of new faces playing because so many new faces were here last year. Does that give you an advantage, having so many people that kind of have gone through the ropes a little bit and know what's going on from a leadership standpoint?
I think so, because, you look into other teams and you see how big their underclassmen are with the freshmen. You're like, wow, we only lost 1 and we gained 8. And I think it's going to help us this year with the chemistry and just knowing how everybody plays and stuff. And I think we play really well together, and I think that year underneath our belt is going to help us this year.
From a leadership standpoint, does that kind of make it easier to have so many familiar faces in the dugout?
Oh, yeah. Because, as far as knowing your teammates and gaining respect for each other on the field, it's very important to have that year where you learn how people play, you learn how they work together, and you learn what you need to say to them, whether it's to bring them up or, to just encourage everybody. People work differently. And especially for us being leaders on the team, it's really important for us to know how each person's going to respond to the way that we talk to them. And so having that year under our belts with the majority of our team is really important.
Any team has to have that upperclassman leadership, and it doesn't have to be that they have to be stars or doing this dominant thing on the field, but they have to be the go-between a little bit between your coaching staff and your team, but also just for that comfort zone to you're out there and you're up in Rhode Island and it's 35 degrees and yeah, we've been here before.
Right.
We'll get through it. We'll be able to, you'll be able to play. Yeah, the wind's going to blow 40 miles an hour, but to see that, not everybody's just in shock over it, and that can breathe a little bit of fresh air into everybody and just give, the younger players a chance to have that comfort zone and to, to be able to feel and play their game too.
Speaking of being there and having been there, another trip through the A10 this year, having been to several of the places that you're going to go again, I know this is one of the nicer places to play, obviously, in the league, but when you do have to go on the road, does that put any additional pressure on the seniors to be leaders and kind of rally people through situations where, look, we're going to pull out a win here, we've got to do this? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think it does at times. A lot of the girls are very self-motivating, and when we go places, I don't hear a whole lot of, oh, it's going to be harder because we're here, it's going to be worse because we're here. Most of the time, everybody's out there, we all want to win, we all want to play, but it's definitely good, like when we go to places with bad weather, and that's tough, especially as a freshman or a sophomore when you haven't experienced that, when you're from warm weather. Mm-hmm. It's very tough to play through those games. We went to, we're going to St. Bonaventure this year, and when we went last time, it hailed and sleeted on us the entire
gracious.
Game. And it was awful. It was, but if we go out there and that happens again, I've been through it once and I know I can get through it again, and hopefully I can help the other girls get through that too.
That's not something someone from Anaheim Hills would probably think she'd ever experience.
No, it was very interesting. I was playing left field and I had hail pelting me in the back of the head the entire game, but we got through it.
That's crazy. Well, but that's the Atlantic 10 sometimes. I mean, and we get stormy weather kind of close down here when it gets time for a tournament time. It May, early May can be a little dicey. All right, last question before we let you go here. Expectations for the season, another trip through the Atlantic 10, a tough softball conference. Challenges are out there for you, but having some veterans and some freshmen who've been through it, now sophomores, you got to kind of feel pretty good about your prospects, I would guess.
I think most definitely. I think that from a defensive and offensive standpoint, we're the most experienced returning team. The A10 is going to be very open. There's been, we bring back probably besides ourselves and maybe St. Joe's and Temple, one of the more experienced pitching staffs, whereas some of the other ones are starting over a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a very wide open year for the A10. I think it's going to be a very offensive year until some teams settle in. But I think this is the time to might as well, if we're going to leave, we might as well go ahead and leave with a title.
I like that. I like the way you're thinking there. And if you're saying it's an offensive year, I like who you're bringing to the fight.
Exactly.
Because we got some offense. You need to come down, fans, and check out this softball team this year. Do not park on the other side of the fence, on the outfield side, because there will be home runs flying out of there. Our home runs flying out of there. And Bree and Kalie are going to be a big part of that this coming season. They started every game last year, so you can expect to see these two in the lineup and a bevy of other young players that we're very excited about, and a good squad this year. So good luck to the three of you and the rest of your teammates. Best of health, and I know things are going to go well for you. Coach, thanks for stopping in. I know it's been a crazy January, February for weather, but hopefully it kind of calms down when the season starts and we can have some fun home tournaments. Come down, check us out, www.charlotte49ers.com. You can get the whole schedule there. They're going to be home a lot early in the season. So Coach Aimee DeVos and two of our seniors, Kalie Lang and Briana Gwaltney, thanks for visiting, ladies. We will see you down at the softball complex. Wear green when you come, and go Niners.